Hey there friendos, Newbornkilik here, welcoming you back to Stupid Urban Stories. Now I have a hopefully fantastic story for today. We have Ocarina of Time Creepypasta, that is the name, end sentence. But today we're going to be reading through this creepypasta and we're going to be a sarcastic jerk to it. Of course, no insult to the writers, it's off the Trollpasta wiki, so I mean, how serious can they really be? But with that said, let's get into Ocarina of Time Creepypasta. It starts out. A few months ago, I noticed a small classic video store that was seemingly popped out of nowhere on a street I walk by quite often. I'm always on the lookout for older, hard-to-find games. You know, this person doesn't know what emulation is. I mean, buying completely legitimate copies of video games. But yes, those are very hard to get a hold of these days. But naturally, Arthur went inside. It was a very small shop, about the size of a bedroom. You know, a bedroom. The thing that can be multiple different sizes. It had wooden walls that were bare except for several video game posters on them. The posters looked like the kind you got in issues of Nintendo Power, but they weren't exact matches. There was an Earthbound poster of a frightened-looking Ness staring at the background that shows up when you fight Gygas. A poster of Sonic in the drowning position in a very dark underwater city, and several others. I see someone has been visiting DeviantArt. If that doesn't spook you into liking and subscribing, I don't know what will. Sadly, the game selection wasn't very good. They covered systems going all the way back to the Atari 2600, but only had 10 to 20 games each. Most of them common ones that everyone has, or those crappy ones that no one wants. I'm looking at you, FIFA. And even I probably just made someone upset. I don't know who, but I'm sure someone is now angry. And tip-tap type it in the comments right now. I feel it. Arthur didn't find anything they were interested in, and we're about to leave when something caught my eye. It was a gold Zelda Ocarina of Time cartridge. I already had one of the game, of course, but I had to examine this cartridge because of how beaten up it was. The cover was almost entirely torn off, the plastic was cracked and chipped in many places, and there was something that looked like a burn mark on it. The cart was only $2, and for some reason I felt drawn to buying it. That's because you make poor decisions with money. That is what that means. The clerk didn't say anything to me. Instead, he just took my money and I left with the cart. I'm assuming you're talking about a human that took the money, right? Anyway, after leaving the store, I started to wonder why I bought a copy of the game, bad with money, we've been over this already, I already owned in such a horrible condition. But since I had it, I decided I may as well see if it actually worked. It doesn't. It's broken. You make poor decisions. Moving forward to the next sentence. But Arthur put it in their Nintendo 64 and turned it on. It was immediately greeted by repeated shrieks against a solid red screen. Arthur turned the system off, took the card out, put it back in, and tried again, because Arthur doesn't learn. They make poor decisions on cooldown. But this time, Arthur saw Zelda's character model lying face down, slowly rotating, while Ganon's laugh played. Tried once more and actually got into the intro screen this time. But I couldn't get the game to respond to the controller, and a slowed down version of Hyrule Castletown's music was playing, which is just not really that scary still. I hope I'm playing it now. It's really not that bad. But Arthur continues, cartridges were capable of some rather odd effects when they were broken or tampered with while a system is turned on. I had heard about cartridge tilting with Nintendo 64 games, and since I wasn't going to be able to play my new cart, I decided I may as well try messing with it. Red flag? Redeads are coming at you already? And your first reaction is to, yeah, let's mess with it. Let's just prod and poke the demons that are coming out of this console, infecting the console rather now, coming out of the cartridge. Good ideas. Really good idea. I look forward to seeing you in the obituary next week. But Arthur puts the game in one more time, getting some glitchy character models while what sounded like cymbals crashed repeatedly. I started bending the cart. I'm sorry, that doesn't work that way. It's inside of the system. You can't bend the cart. Anyway, to Arthur's amazement, this actually made the game start the intro screen with normal music, and their controller was working. No, it wasn't. You're dead, crossed over to the other side. That is what has happened. 2 of the files already had saves on them, so Arthur selected the 3rd and started the game. The game started with a Deku Tree's monologue, but the text was different. Different text in a creepypasta? That's never happened. The Deku Tree spoke thusly. Death is the only thing this cursed land is good for. The cruel goddess created life only to toy with it and laugh at the pain of those they gave it to. I wish for death." The last sentence repeated itself several times, filling up 6 text bubbles, with it being said over and over. I wish for death. I wish for death. But really, it just sounded like he's a tree. He can't talk. So it just sounded like wood snapping, I would assume. Give this man a wood chipper. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out for you. But the game finally switched to Link having his nightmare. It happened pretty much like the normal game, but Ganon had Zelda's face? Are you talking about like surgically put onto his face, or just like carrying it around like free floating? One of those is way scarier than the other, and I'm gonna leave it to you which one you think that is. But Link woke up. There was no Navi. He simply screamed as he awoke from his nightmare and got up on his own. Wow, he's a functioning member of society now. I can't relate. I had control of him and went to Kokiri Village. There was no other characters. Okay, I'm gonna let that one slide because it's on the Trollpasta wiki. But yeah, so there was no other characters. I couldn't go into the houses, and the hole we crawl through to get the sword was missing. Capital since Mido wasn't there, I simply went to the Deku Tree. You know, the guy that wants to die. Really great company, that one. No cinema happened, okay? No cutscenes, got it. But the dungeon was open, so I went inside. You just invited yourself into a tree's mouth. Problematic behavior, but, go on. The author continues. The dungeon looked nothing like the one in the game. It looked like the inside of a castle. There were no enemies, and I didn't have any items, so I just explored. As I went from room to room, the sound of children laughing got louder and louder. I finally downed a sword. Downed, not found, downed. I finally downed a sword. You're gonna want to keep that away from any orifices, especially your mouth. Okay, swallowing swords takes lots of practice. I would assume they're not sharp. I genuinely don't know. Anywho's it's what. Author found a sword. It was stuck through the rib cage of a skeleton, as if he used it to kill himself a very long time ago. I picked it up, and the item text said, "You got the hero's sword." I messed up and read that as "You got the hero's mankind." And that's a very different thing, but "You got the hero's sword. Will you be wise enough to use it for the right purpose?" At that point, a Majora's Mask-style wizrobe appeared, the old mankind. He didn't move as fast as the ones in Majora's Mask do, and I was able to kill him with the sword. He slumped over, instead of exploding or fading, like you'd expect a Zelda enemy to do. You just killed an old man, that's just all you did. You just committed a murder. This man just pops up and you're like, I choose violence. But the old mankind wizrobe said, "You have taken my life. You've killed me."
Good.
Same energy. "But I will be avenged. My pet will deliver my vengeance." The doors to the room locked, and I heard growling and the sound of heavy feet running. This went on for at least 20 minutes. You just stood there for 20 minutes and didn't get bored? I got about 2 minutes in me before I'm like, all right, I'm done. But great determination on you. I appreciate that. But author was getting scared, more frightened than I should be for a video game character. Finally, after 20 minutes, so he had plenty of time to stop this, he chose not to. Finally, a gigantic wolf enemy burst into the room. I tried fighting, but my sword had no effect, and he mauled Link to death, leaving a bloody corpse behind. The game froze on a shot of Link's corpse, and there was no game over screen. I tried to play the game again, but no matter what I did to the cart, bending it, twisting it. Did you try blowing in it too? I hear that works. I also hear it'll ruin your cartridge in a handful of years, but it works in the temporary at least. But the cartridge would never display anything besides that final shot of Link's death. Very spooky, chat. This story was not very good. With that said, it was better than I was anticipating. And while I was sarcastic through it, I think they have a decent premise here. It just kinda falls into the standard video game creepypasta tropes, and the ending's just kind of like super abrupt. Like, oh no, Link is dead now forever, and this wasn't even his cartridge. You know, it's not like he can't play Ocarina of Time again. He could just go to his other copy of the game. Where's the consequence for this? You know what I mean? Like, what? Some of you might be upset that I'm upset that nothing came out of the TV and tried to kill this guy, but at least then something would have happened at the end. Or maybe go back to the store and try to return the game, but it's gone, chat. It's vanished. I just wish something happened. Link got mauled by a Wolfos, assumedly, and that's it. There are no consequences. But anyway, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It does help me out an awful lot. Thank you so much to my patrons, channel supporters, and Twitch members. I said that in a weird order, but you know what I'm talking about. Go check me out on Twitch. Do all the YouTube stuff. I don't want to say it. Anyway, I'm Newbornkilik, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.